So looking into the data generation code, once I collected all of the images from my scanner, I pass it through the data generation code, and this looks at each individual image, calculates the distance to each pixel, and then generates a text file which contains all the information that Cloud Compare needs to generate the point cloud map. So just to give a better view of how I did it, the first step I did is once I had my images, I ran the Color Picker 2 program, and this let me take an image such as this one, which is from my mapping of the target, and pick out the best values, which, if I remember correctly, was like 160. It was 160, and I believe 40 or something like that. But you can see here that setting these threshold values isolates the red laser line perfectly. And then I entered those values into the threshold right here. Yeah, 164. I entered the values into the threshold here. And so this way, as this program looped through each of the images within my folder from the scanner, it could isolate the red laser line and create the point cloud. With Cloud Compare now open and my text file generated, the next step is to open the file, which is right here, apply all, and now we can see the scan data entered into Cloud Compare. Now, this data is not the cleanest looking, and the biggest thing I learned from it is to make sure the horizontal lock on my tripod is in place, because as you can see, there were major layer shifts because my tripod was moving horizontally while I was trying to scan. At the time of this recording, I have already scanned my target, and I did lock the axes, and it came out perfectly. So I figured I'd leave this one shown like this so that it could be clear that I learned that for the next time. Now, if I want to apply a height map to make it a little more visible and easier to see what's going on, the first thing I'll do is trim away this extra point down here, because that will affect the height map, because that one is so far away. And I want it in the Y, and there we go. So we can see the further out it is, or obviously orange is back, blue is closer. And from this side profile here, you can make out the scan that I made. Here's her head, the head, and then the torso. I only scanned from the torso up, so you can just make out the head, the neck, the torso right here. Now, obviously, from the front, it's much more difficult to tell. But overall, I believe this was a good start, and it demonstrated that my scanner is able to generate the 3D point cloud, and I was ready to move on to the preliminary scanning of my target.